The year was 1677. The monsoon winds blew fiercely that night, just as they had for centuries across the rugged hills of Karnataka. But this night was different. This night, a queen was born. Her courage would capture the respect of even the mighty Shivaji Maharaj himself. This is the story of a queen who raised an army of women warriors when such a thing was unheard of, whose legacy deserves to be told once more. Her name was Malamma of Belawadi. A little girl runs through a palace courtyard, her laughter echoing against stone walls. Faster, Shadashiva, she calls to her brother. Father says the teachers wait for no one. Young Malamma, daughter of King Madhulinga Nayak, at just 5 years old, attended a school her father built specially for his children. While other princesses learned only domestic arts, Malamma studied warfare alongside dance and strategy alongside art. Why must I learn these things, father? She once asked, holding a wooden practice sword. The king smiled, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Because, my jasmine flower, in our world, even queens must know how to protect their land and people. And so she learned. The daughter of Sode Kingdom would be prepared for whatever destiny brought ahead. Years passed. Princess Malamma grew into a wise and strong lady. The Desai prince of Belawadi had come to seek Malamma's hand in marriage. Whispers followed the tall, imposing figure of Prince Isha Prabhu as he entered the Sode kingdom. They say he hunted 21 tigers in a single month, whispered a noble. Their wedding joined more than two people. It united two kingdoms. Together, they ruled Belawadi, a kingdom between rolling hills and fertile plains. And it prospered. Rice fields yielded abundant harvest. Jaggery from their land sweetened dishes across neighboring kingdoms. Trade flowed through coastal Karwar. But most unusual was what Malamma built in secret, an army unlike any seen before in India. One day, in their royal court, a village elder fell to his knees and cried, They took our cows. The Maratha soldiers came in the night. When Gopala tried to stop them, they beat him senseless. The court erupted in outrage. Maratha forces under the great Shivaji were camped nearby, returning from conquests further south. A contingent led by Commander Dadaji had forcefully captured the cattle. King Isha Prabhu's face darkened with anger. This cannot stand. Yet, to challenge Shivaji's forces directly would bring devastation to our people. The court fell silent. Then Queen Malamma rose from her throne. My king, she said, her voice carrying across the hushed chamber. Let me handle this matter. Whispers rippled through the court. Was the queen suggesting she lead soldiers against the feared Marathas? Isha Prabhu studied the queen's face, seeing the resolve in her eyes. With a slight nod, he gave his consent. The Maratha camp slept under the canopy of stars. Soldiers dreamt of home, of glory, and of future conquests. But none dreamt of women warriors. Like shadows, they came before dawn. 2,000 women in battle formation, their saris tucked for combat in traditional Veeragache style, weapons shining under the moonlight. Malamma raised her sword. Jai Veerabhadra! The battle cry shattered the night as Malamma's forces struck from all sides. Confusion reigned in the Maratha camp. Half-awake soldiers scrambled for weapons. Many fell even before they could defend themselves. The women fought with precision and discipline, their years of secret training now bearing deadly fruit. Find the cows, Malamma commanded, cutting down a Maratha soldier who rushed at her. Free our people's cattle! The surprise attack succeeded beyond expectations. Dozens of Maratha soldiers fell. The stolen cattle were recovered. But the victory was short-lived. Word of attack reached Shivaji. Reinforcements were coming. King Isha Prabhu learned of the escalation. He led his male warriors to support the queen's forces. A thunderous war cry was made, horses neighed and swords clanked. The quick raid had become a full battle. "My king, behind you!" But Malama's warning came too late. A Maratha commander had circled behind the king's position. With a single thrust, he drove his sword through Isha Prabhu's back. The king of Belawadi fell from his horse, dead before he hit the ground. Malama's scream of anguish cut through the battlefield noise. For one terrible moment, she froze, watching as her husband's body was trampled in the chaos. Then something changed in her eyes. "Form ranks," she commanded. "We fight not just for cattle now, we fight for Belawadi itself." For 27 days, the battle raged across the countryside. Malama's forces, women and men fighting side by side, inflicted heavy losses on the Marathas. On the 27th day, Malama led a desperate charge against the Maratha lines. Her horse leapt forward, soldiers scattering before her fury. "For Isha Prabhu!" she cried, her sword claiming another life. But even legends can fall. A Maratha soldier jumped beneath her, slicing through the horse's leg. Horse and the queen fell to the ground in a cloud of dust. Malama rose, blood streaming from her forehead, sword still clutched in her hand. Surrounded by enemies, she fought on foot as soldiers closed in. One by one they fell to her blade, until sheer numbers overwhelmed her. As spears pressed against her throat, Malama finally surrendered. "Take me to Shivaji," she commanded, even in defeat sounding like a queen. "If I am to die, let it be by order of a worthy opponent." When Queen Malama was brought before Shivaji Maharaj, the great Maratha ruler saw something special. Not a defeated enemy, but a reflection of the divine. "Who's this woman who fights like goddess Bhavani herself?" he asked his commanders. Bruised and bound, Malama stood proud. "I am Malama of Belawadi, and you have killed my husband." Shivaji, raised by his own warrior mother, Jijabai, recognized the fire in Malama's eyes. It was the same flame that had driven him to build an empire. "Release her bindings," he commanded. His general protested. "But sire," Shivaji's eyes flashed as he turned to face his officer. "I said now." When Malama stood free before him, Shivaji did something extraordinary. The conqueror of kingdoms, trouble of Mughals, bowed his head to the queen of a small kingdom. "I made a mistake, mother," he said. "Kindly forgive me. I do not want your kingdom." Malama returned to her kingdom and ruled until her death in 1678. Though her reign was brief, her legacy endures as Karnataka's Lionheart Queen. In the quiet village of Yadwar stands a black granite sculpture commissioned by Malama herself, showing Shivaji Maharaj on horseback, a permanent reminder of respect between opponents. Across Karnataka, grandmothers still tell their granddaughters about the queen who led an army of women. For, in a world where history often forgets women's courage, Belawadi Malama's story reminds us that true bravery knows no gender, and that sometimes the greatest victories come not from conquering others, but from earning their respect.